Today I'm going to be working on my altered book, and we are actually going to be finishing the final pages of this journal. So I had 4 pages that were prepped with the backgrounds and had bits and pieces on them but weren't completely finished. And so if you've been watching previous videos in this series, I've been kind of working on finishing this and going back to older pages and adding things in, but today is the day that we are finally going to finish this journal, and I have absolutely loved working in this altered book, and I definitely want to create another one that's similar to this because I've just really enjoyed the format and dipping in and out of the different pages and being able to experiment with different techniques and things that I have been including within it, and it's just been a really nice creative space for me, and I've really enjoyed having that as something that is separate to some of my other journals because obviously an altered book is a little bit different in format to like a regular even junk journal, because you obviously have to think about how the book is bound and working with the pages that are in it and things like that. So yes, the spine might be a little bit on its last legs, and I probably couldn't add any more ephemera into this, and it's really, really chunky, but I really love it. And so here are the final pages, like I said, that I am working on. So some of them I did a little bit more to than others, but I've done a few different things here just with adding some quotes in, adding little bits of like stickers and washi tape. So this page here, I just included, as you see on the right hand side, that giant washi sticker, and I really love that you can see the text showing through on that, and I think it really makes a good statement piece on the page. And I think the colours as well really helps to add a nice warmth to the page that goes quite nicely with the aged book paper that I've got there on the left hand side. So I didn't want to do like a huge amount more to this. I was almost just like embellishing it with some finishing details. Next, I'm moving on to this page, which again has a layer of sort of collage already in place, and I'm using some of the collage washi strips that I made just to have as an easy way to add some collage to the piece without, taking over too much from what was already on there. I just wanted it in certain sections, and I've got like a bunch of different papers there that I'd taken from a previous altered book and things like that, and I actually decided I wanted to try and bridge the gap there between the collage that I had on the left hand side and then on the right hand side. So I decided to pop this piece in the middle, and that way it kind of helps like visually, I think, to bring them both together as a page. And this little pocket that I pinched as well from the other altered book, I decided that I would use this as a tip-in. So I've got like a tip-in pocket here that has a vellum transparency in it, which I just thought would be really nice as a bit of an extra detail. And also the pink flower that I'd already included on that, I thought just went well with the page anyway, and I wanted some sort of imagery on there because I had the collage, but I didn't have anything that was like, a focal point or area of interest, I suppose, on the page. And so I just backed it because obviously it was all like torn papers, and I didn't want that in the book, and it was slightly too wide, so I just trimmed it a little bit, and that was totally fine. It didn't get in the way too much of the flower there, so I kind of got away with that. And then I was able to tip it into the page. So I just used this like pale pink washi tape, which I really love because it's quite translucent in comparison to some of my other washi tapes. So I just think it gives a nice effect, and with the way that you have the altered book text showing through as well, I think that is a nice little detail for a page like this. And so I'm just doing a bit of mark making here with coloured pencil, mainly just to kind of bring a little bit of colour to the page and kind of carry it through the page to sort of help it become a bit more cohesive, I suppose. And then I came in with some stamping just to add some details around the edge of the page. I love doing this with the sepia ink that I've got, and these stamps are from Flying Tiger and they come in a really cute little tin, which I'm definitely going to be using, I think probably just to store some stickers in, quite honestly, because I always feel like I've got like bits of papers and like loose stickers especially that I never know how to actually organize them and how to keep them all in one place. Like I have my little sticker binder with my rub-on stickers, but even then I still find it like I get disorganized with it all. And so I wanted to get the stamps because they were really nice stamps, and then also because I wanted to use the tin for organization. So I thought that would be good for that. And so now I've moved on to adding some lettering and just like some quotes, and I'm using my favorite Tombow brush pen to do this. And I decided to use the layers of brown paper that I had added onto the page as my like focal point, like my place for the text, so that it kind of felt like it was intentional why there was the random bits of brown paper stuck there, if that makes sense. And I ended up just underlining them, which I just think adds a nice little touch to being able to add writing onto a page, and sometimes it not feeling like it's floating in amongst all the other collage bits and pieces that I can have going on a page. So sometimes I'll underline just like a few words, and that's like for emphasis. There was a couple of quotes that I added to these pages where I just like circled one particular phrase and used that as a bit of a design element in terms of highlighting some of that text. But I added that quote there, as you can see on the right hand side. Again, the similar technique of like using a like plain-ish collage piece as my journaling spot and using that as a way of like dividing the page up visually, I suppose. And so I then just came in with a few stickers. I had these gold stars, which I've been loving to use in my like commonplace book actually, but I just thought that I would add a bit of sparkle to these pages and a bit of interest, because I had a lot of collage going on and I didn't necessarily want to cover any of it up. So I was just like, what can I add that will just give a little bit of something to the page but not take over? I think that's a challenge I've had throughout working in this book, because it's quite small, and so you don't want to add too much collage and detract from everything else that you've already added. So I think that's definitely been something that I've had as like a bit of a learning process almost, is trying to sort of get that balance right of like adding the collage and adding the layers, but then not adding too much in a sense that it either gets too bulky or, you know, defeats the purpose of completely covering something up. Because I'm all for like having different layers and being able to see different elements like peeking through from the background. I absolutely love that, but I still didn't want to like completely cover up different parts that I had added to the pages. So yeah, it was definitely sort of working out where I should add the final little bits of scraps to the pages. But I think because I had prepped a load of pages like all at once, like I just did a batch where I just added all of the collage papers, it felt like they were all like a little bit cohesive, and then I had something to respond to. So whether it was the colors of the papers, the textures, or even just like the layout that I had glued them down in, kind of steered me in then where I was going to be adding the text or other things that I was going to add to the journal pages. And so I was wondering what to put in the pocket, and as you can see there, I just had an offcut that was the perfect size for adding into that pocket that would show through on the transparency. So I just did a little bit of lettering there, and I thought that that would be a nice way to have something showing through on the page, but it not like completely taking over and being as much of a focal point as the text has been on the other pages. So I definitely wanted to, have that text there, but you could still have the pink flower as the thing that your eye is drawn to. And so for the last piece of text and the last thing that I've ever added to this little altered book to finish it off, I decided to stamp the word create and then just circle it. And I felt like that was a really fitting way to end creating within this altered book. So I hope you've enjoyed joining me for the process of all these pages. There will be a playlist link down below if you want to see how any of these pages have come together, and let me know if you want me to do a flip through of the whole journal as a finished piece, but like as you can see, it's so chunky. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.